Yo, what's up guys? So we're here to showcase off Child's Play, which is the new TCG name for this card. But anyways, this card is going to be pretty annoying to lose to, especially because it's kind of a troll-oriented deck, and it's pretty cool. But anyways, when you combine Refuge and Audacity, or Child's Play in the TCG, with the Null Nun and Blooming Dogwood, you can actually heal up to insane amounts of life points, kind of like how the Banished variant decks with Soul Absorption would be doing it, but you need either one of these. You don't have to necessarily have both, but when you combine it in Fairies, you can get absolutely trolled and get one-hit OTK'd. Like I said, it's kind of funny because your opponent probably has no idea. They probably think that you're playing some like really bad deck, but you're going to troll them when you bust out a card that has, you know, absurd amounts of life points like you will see here very soon. So, in addition with Child's Play, you're able to heal up with Null Nun and Blooming Dogwood. You're just going to get basically 10k or more life points. And then Sanctuary in the Sky makes it so, well, you're not going to be taking any battle damage. So even if they were to happen to have something, you're not going to take any battle damage anyways. And then the Agent of Force Mars, which is an agent monster, can one-hit OTK you. Now, it's pretty funny to see this in action. So let's go and watch it against some of the other decks over here. This guy's playing the new Endymion build. I've seen a lot of those decks, but like I said, a lot of people don't expect to lose to this because they see the Null Nun. They're like, whatever, you can have like your extra 10k life points, it doesn't matter. And like I said, you're going to troll them when you summon your Agent of Mars, and you're pretty much just going to be one-hitting them. And then from there, they're going to be basically losing out, and they're going to be upset. And I love seeing when meta decks just lose to something super random, right? Like he just summons a 7k monster, his opponent's like, okay, well I can still survive. You know, these monsters in deck are not the not the strongest here, and he can't like really negate anything because he's just have this effect as just they're not going to be activating. But in addition to that, this card is unaffected by any spell cards where you control a face-up Sanctuary in the Sky. And your life points are higher than your opponent's. It gains attack and defense equal to the difference. So that could be really good if your opponent plays Upstar or any of the other cards in the game. Let's just go ahead and watch out a few more plays courtesy of Spider Queen over here. I like these plays. This Mermail play, I feel kind of bad for him, really. Because, again, people don't expect it. And, well, that's part of running some of these decks that are more obscure. Like in this case, he summoned the Earth. He has the Mars in his hand, and again, Child's Play is going to go ahead and show you how powerful it is. In fact, this is the most recent, it's from the most recent set that we have gotten in TCG. I know we have Sneak Peek coming up very soon for Dark Neostorm. But anyways, he's going to go ahead and activate the effects, of course, and he also has Divine Punishment, so that's kind of nice. You also have some negation technically in this build. I wouldn't call it a counter fairy deck, but because you're able to stall with some of the cards, you might be able to get enough life points to kind of play counter fairies if you wanted to, in a sense where you're able to negate a few cards here and there. But we're going to see Duality activate. He's going to go ahead and add that Perform Pal Karibo. I'm going to call it, it almost looks like a Christmas Karibo, but anyways, it's Perform Pal Karibo border. Anyways, he's going to go ahead and summon it, and it forces damage calc, and basically at that point, you're going to go ahead and gain life points. So basically minus 300. So he's going to go ahead and attack right over that Undine, but that card is going to get stopped by, of course, the WhiteDragon. Like, imagine losing to this deck and playing what would be a much more competitive deck. I mean, how many times have you seen Agents in 2019? I think I've seen this deck like 0 times, but we got 5k attack. He can only move things to defense mode, and it's got 5k defense. And remember, the card, because he has Sanctuary in the Sky, it's not going to be able to be affected by any spell cards. So your opponent can't, like, do anything to you. And he goes ahead and moves one into defense mode. But, like, when there's 3 Mars out, it's over, man. And with multiple Nova Summers, you have so many ways to just summon in this deck. But very trollsy indeed, Spider Queen. I like it. This guy, he's even playing the God cards over here. Are the God cards going to stop this? Absolutely not, dude. Child's Play, too good. I love seeing these troll cheesy decks, too. But anyways, he's going to go ahead and activate the true name, and then he's going to go ahead and set a Nimble, Manta, and Pass. In response, we've got double Nova Summoners, so those can go into anything. Basically, more Nova Summoners or other cards just to kind of stall out. He's going to go ahead and attack into the first one. That's going to go ahead and bring back another Nova Summoner. And then remember, every time he's going to be summoning, that's 300 life points. It all basically just adds up here. So he's going to go ahead and attack over that and get some damage in. Because the more damage that you deal to your opponent, the stronger your agent force of Mars will be. And then look at this. He hasn't even hit like the 10k life points. We're just utilizing it by just attacking with Nova Summer. And he's already at 5,800, and he keeps getting stronger. Every time that this guy does anything, it almost reminds me of how counter fairies play. It's like one of those win harder decks. Once you start getting started, and you gain that advantage, like look at this, at this point, like what do you do? Like even the God cards, even if you were to summon Obelisk, the Tormentor with 4k attack, he's just no match for the Agent of Force Mars. But there it is, guys. Very cheesy troll deck, but let's go ahead and hop in the deck profile. If you guys have suggestions for this deck, let me know in the comment section below. Let's go ahead and get started. I also think Magic Cylinder would be extra good if you guys want to troll your opponents even harder with this. But anyways, we have Zorius, the Herald of Heaven. Obviously, it's just for Sanctuary in the Sky. Then we have Matil, the Sage of the Sky. 3 copies of Nova Summoner, 3 copies of Null None. It's basically kind of the same in a sense. Although this one gives you a lot more. And then we have 3 copies, of course, of Mars, because that's the point of the deck. Then we have 3 copies of Earth to search out the Mars. Then we have 3 copies of the Karibo Rider. And then we have 3 copies of Extravagance. We have 2 copies of Terraforming, 3 copies of Refuge in Audacity. I also think that you could maybe get away with the extra deck card where you're able to just go ahead and... Oh yeah, okay. This is one that gets rid of your extra deck. And then you could also just get rid of your deck if you wanted to. I don't think that... Because you already have 3 copies of it, and the other ones, of course, you're able to search them out with these 2. I don't think you're going to be banishing all 3 unless you get really unlucky. But definitely not a bad choice as well if you want to add that to the mix. And then 2 copies of Terraforming, and then of course Refuge in Audacity. And then also I was thinking about this deck with Spell Mining. Oh, did they change the name of the TCG? Okay. It's the... I thought it was called Mining Cave. Did they change the name? Okay. Oh, it's spelled dash Mining Cave. If you combine this card with this, I mean, this could get really annoying too. You could just straight up stall until you draw the right cards, and then you finally play, and then your opponent will be at a point where you've actually healed up a bunch of life points, which could be pretty dirty as well. So, yeah, that could be another great addition to the deck. Anyways, we have 3 copies of Sanctuary of the Parshath, so it becomes Sanctuary in the Sky while in the field, so it helps, of course, with your bars. But then on top of that, fairy monsters gain 300 attack and defense, and set spells / traps can't be targeted or destroyed by your card effects. And then once per turn, you can target a total of 3 fairy monsters and or counter traps with their names in your graveyard, and you get to place them in your deck in any order. So you can basically utilize that for your Nova Summers that you cycle through, because remember, Sanctuary of the Sky, you're not going to be taking any damage. Then you get to restack them up, and then you get to go ahead and basically crash one into this. You can also run the Shining Angel if you wanted to, because this does not have question mark attack. It actually does have attack, which is actually 0, but it just happens to gain the attack, which is pretty cool. But anyways, next up we have 3 Stings for the Sky, 3 copies of Reckless Greed, which, like I said, I think this deck could be a deck we can benefit off of Desires as well. I know that you can't activate both, but we have Storm Strike and then 3 copies of Divine Punishment. I think, okay, let's go over the extra deck first. So we have Topologic, we have Borlode, Boral Sword, Topologic, Trisbania, the Celestial Knight Lord Parshath, 3 copies of those. And then we have Decode Talker, we got the Unicorn, Phoenix, the Condemned Dark Lord, Cerberus, and 3 copies of the Hip Hoshin Ninjin. And that's it for the deck profile, but I wanted to also suggest some other things. Like I mentioned before, Shining Angel could be a great addition to this deck, as well as this over here. And unfortunately, this is like the only dark in here, so I don't think we can really like run a Lair of Darkness. If you want to maybe try to mix in some extra draw power with some other fairies, because there is technically other agents that are dark. I've seen, you could run this. I've seen people try this. This was an OCG build back. They would basically, you can just add an agent monster. They would add this just to Lure of Darkness it, and that can be kind of consistent if you just play like one Allure. If you already happen to have this card, it is not that bad considering you have this. So you can try out that if you wanted to. But I definitely think these are great additions. And then I think if you added like Solemn Judgment, the problem with like Solemn Strike and Judgment, they kind of counteract your deck. So perhaps just dropping Solemn Strike and adding another form of negation can be technically possible if you wanted to. But like I said, if you guys have any other suggestions for this cheesy deck with Child's Play, which is a card I don't think most people use, but against certain matchups, against Link decks, Dangers even, oh, this would be great. This card and this card are so excellent against Dangers, you just summon this card and that's literally game, unless they can negate your summon. Excellent, excellent stuff. But anyways, thanks again, Spider Queen, for hooking us up with those plays, so shout outs to you. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the gameplay. If you did, drop a like on it, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more crazy, cheesy Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks. And if you guys want to send in some replays, just like Spider Queen, feel free to go ahead and send them into AzneyesReplays@gmail.com. But thanks for watching, guys. Peace out. I'm signing out.